I shouldn't say I'm gonna try to. Yoda would be mad at me. Good afternoon, welcome back to Boisterous Cock Farmstead. I apologize, there is a little bit of a breeze, but last time I plugged up my microphone it actually didn't record the audio, so I'd rather have questionable audio than no audio. But I wanted to revisit a subject that I had some videos out about 3 months ago, roughly, back in September, and tell you guys the follow-up for it and what my course of action is going to be. So this area here, get the sun out of the way. So this field over here is the one that I was dragging with my arena rake, or the drag rake behind the tractor. And I had a couple different ideas to try to help speed up the process a little bit for being able to plant some sort of grass or forage or something like that, legumes, like an alfalfa or creeping grass of some type. And I've got the seed for it, but a few factors have not cooperated. Number one being, we just haven't had any rain. This last year has been very, very dry. It has definitely been a drought year. And I did get one good night of rain here in the recent couple weeks, or here in the past couple weeks, but we haven't really had any extended rain to allow the ground to stay saturated. And so another idea that I had, and I probably will do this, is I've got a horse breeder that's just a couple miles away from me, and it's actually one of my closest neighbors. And I've stopped into them and talked to them about taking off some of their manure that they've got. They've just got big piles of manure, and he said that would be fine. I just have to coordinate a day to actually do that, when I'm going to be available to spread it, because I will be spreading it by hand. I won't have any machinery or anything like that, as is the case with almost everything that I do here on the farm. So in conjunction with that idea, I was thinking about pre-mixing some topsoil, and I contacted my local sand and gravel place, and they sell topsoil. And me being from a bunch of different places, most recently Alaska, topsoil up there is very dark, very rich, and everything like that. So knowing that regions vary as far as what their definition of topsoil is, I wanted to swing by there and take a look at a sample of it. And basically what I found out is I already have a bunch of topsoil on my property from what they're going to sell me. Now, it is loose. It would be easier to mix it and get the organic matter incorporated a little bit better, and then spread it. But I'm really only going to be adding the same material, just with a little bit of mixing. So what I've decided to do is that eventually I will come out here and I will just spread manure, and I'll just run the rake over it several times, try to mix it as best I can via that method. and then I'll have to just give it some time to get a few rains on it and try to help kind of incorporate the organic matter a little bit better. Now, with this method, it's going to take a while, so I don't know that I'm going to plant this even this year. I may just wait until it looks like it's the level I want it to be before I spend any money on the seed, because the seed is actually going to be the most expensive part of it, if I'm not going to be, you know, adding any more topsoil. So that does put a little bit of a damper on my plans and my hopes, I guess. And it also is going to take this pasture out of rotation probably for a little bit, but that is what it is. I have considered putting a shelter in this area and just allowing some of the pigs that are isolated for market or something like that. But my fence along this side of this pasture is not tested, not really sure how secure it is. It was fine in the summertime when there was a lot of forage in here, but now that there's not really much forage, I don't know that they wouldn't go burrowing under it or something like that. So I'm hesitant to put anything in here full time because of that. And that's the section my neighbor is supposed to be fencing off his property, and that side will get replaced when he does his whole perimeter, but that's been over 2 years in the making, so I'm not holding my breath for that one. So after talking with the people over at the sand and gravel place, they basically agreed with me that there's really not much benefit, although they would like to sell me some product. There's not really a benefit to adding more topsoil, other than it would be able to apply a little bit lighter, but it would pack down somewhat anyway, and probably have something close to what I've already got now, although it would have a little bit of the horse manure incorporated into it. So I'll give you a little bit of an update here. Here's one of the Duroc Cross. This is the barrow here. They've actually been doing pretty good since I started upping their food, although it is a little bit more expensive. To have them ready by May, that's just what I'm gonna have to do. And they seem to be responding. They do require more grain than my guinea hogs do. That's just a fact of the life, I guess. And I also brought Tootsie in here. Same reason. She just required a higher feed quality to keep the weight on her. So I'm having to feed her babies out and her at the same time, at least currently. And I may find a configuration that works better, to where she could still get feed but not be lonely, but then still not be in with the boars. That's the challenge right now. Is I've got Pumpkin in with the boars and I'm feeding them, and I don't think she can get pregnant, although it's only been a couple months, so we'll see if she starts showing any signs anytime soon, but I don't think so. I haven't really seen them try to mount her or anything recently, which actually could be a good thing if she actually is pregnant and she's not putting off any hormones or anything like that. But here's the rest of the guinea hog group. And there's Bodie the goat. But yeah, I just wanted to do a quick update about a couple different things that I've got working on. And I've got some big plans here over the weekend that I'm going to try to, I shouldn't say I'm going to try to, Yoda would be mad at me. I'm going to work toward getting the texture on the walls. I've got to finish sanding up the closet. So getting texture on the walls is going to be the first step. The second step is to clean up all the drywall sand and everything like that from the floor. And last night I ran out to Home Depot and got a bunch of mud and some self-leveling underlayment. And I already have some concrete. Oh, I'm gonna dust up here. I've already got some concrete on hand. So I'm going to work on patching the floor up and leveling that out, getting all that area that I chiseled up in the center of the room there. And then the next step will be to texture the ceiling. And then after the ceiling is done, then I'll start the painting process. So the plan is I get all of that done. I'll go inside here. Once I get all that done, then I will start the process of clearing out this area here. I've got all my project stuff over here and tools and things on the shelf, and excuse me, Christmas presents and whatnot. Drywall, the drywall's gonna stay there, but ideally we'll have the Christmas tree over in this corner. We'll put a little bit, we'll put a little couch sectional over on this side, and probably set up a TV along here, which we've got a new TV for Christmas gift, Black Friday sale. And then we'll move, once that bedroom's done, we'll move our bed and the crib into that room for the time being. And then I'll move a lot of this work stuff into our old bedroom and clear this living room out here for Christmas. So my folks are coming on Wednesday. Today is Saturday. Hopefully I've got this video posted by then. I'm falling a little bit behind because I don't even have the one from last weekend posted yet. But so I've got some cleaning up to do after I get my son's bedroom all squared away. Another thing that I did this week, if you guys have gotten these before and you have run into this problem, this is actually a Rinnai V65IN for natural gas, and I was only able to turn it up to 120 degrees, which was not very warm. I mean, it would get warm, but it wouldn't get like hot. So granted, we're not taking showers and things right now because the bathroom's not able to do so. But my wife had mentioned that she would like this to go higher. I did a little bit of research on it, and it says it's supposed to go up to 160. So obviously there was something that needed to be done. And basically what I did was I removed this panel, and there's a little jumper box over there, and you just flip the, in my case it was number 6. You flip the little lever for that, and it allows you to go from 120 up to 140. So I'm guessing there's got to be another setting for going up to 160, but we don't need to go that high, at least at the moment. We'll give that a test there for a little while. So that was another thing. If you guys run into that situation, it's really simple to do. It only took me a couple minutes to just pull the panel off and make that adjustment. So I will I'll give you guys some updates here over the weekend and show you the progress in here, and I'm hoping that by Monday I can get all this work done. My wife's taking next week off, so she'll be taking care of my son during the day on Monday at least, and then Tuesday she's got something planned, so I'll have to go back on baby duty. So that gives me 3 days to get this all worked out. I think I can do it, but I'm not 100% sure because of the floor aspect. The rest of the stuff shouldn't be too problematic. I've done that kind of stuff before, so I'll keep you guys posted, and stay tuned. Alrighty, so I ended up, I vacuumed the walls down to remove as much dust as I can, and removed the dust around the edges at least from sanding, and I've got my hopper set up. I still need to mix the texture batch. From what the hopper says, the finish that I'm going for is like a medium orange peel, and so I've got the right nozzle on there. I've got my compressor set to the recommended PSI, which is between 20 and 23, and I'm supposed to mix this to the consistency of a thin or a thick paint is what it says. So I've got plastic over the window, I've got tape over all the outlet boxes, and make sure that you're not exceeding where the faceplate is going to go once those are on. So yeah, the last step will be I'll have to tape my plastic up over here. I'll get the texture mixed up. I'll load a small amount in here, and then I'll take some cardboard or something like that and just spray some practice texture, or I might even grab a piece of spare drywall and just spray the texture on and test it out. If it's good, I'll just load up more of that same texture mixture. If it's not good, then I'll make an adjustment, whatever that needs to be, and go from there. But I've had pretty good results with just mixing it the first time, so shouldn't be too much. So the next step will be, for next time we check in, I should have already sprayed all the walls here, so I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done. All right, so we are back, and I've shot all the texture. I don't know how well that comes up. And what ended up happening was I had what I thought was a good mixture and shot a few test sprays on some scrap drywall, and it was more of an orange peel consistency. And then as it was trying to feed from the hopper, it just wasn't I don't know if it just wasn't a consistent batch of drywall mud or whatever. So I switched it a little bit. It was going on heavier splatter, and so rather than doing an orange peel, which is kind of like little smooth splatters throughout the wall, I decided I was going to do what's called a knockdown finish. And basically you take your heavier splatters, and after it has a little bit of time to dry, you just take your drywall knife, as wide as you have. So for me, it's a 14-inch knife, and you just gently drag it down, and it creates a flat surface to it. And you've also got all these little bits of texture that dry really quickly, so you're really only knocking down the largest lumps, but it keeps it from having too much protrusion on the texture. And this is actually a very common texture in Alaska, which is where I started. So this was the first texture that I actually did. It's very easy for me to do, and it's an easy shift for me to do. And it's also a texture that my wife doesn't mind. So it's not going to be consistent with the finish in the kitchen, at least if you know what you're looking at. But by the time the paint goes on, one step I'll do is I'll come through with a brush, and I actually like to soften the edges of the texture a little bit. So I'll brush this down before it gets painted anyway. But I'm gonna let this dry. I was hoping that I was gonna get to filling in at least this part over here that kind of drops down into the bathroom. Kind of patch that up with concrete, but it doesn't look like I'm gonna get to that to at least before dinner here. I'm going into town to see my son and my wife. So I'll either pick that up tonight, later on, or what's probably more likely is tomorrow, but we'll have to see. I'd like to get the texture on the ceiling tonight, which is going to require me to break out probably the shop light or the work light, because I'm going to have to pull these ceiling lights in order to get to the texture. At the very least, I'll have to leave them hanging. So I also need to cut out these extra pieces for the overhang here. So I only textured up to where it's going to be cut off. So one step further, and we'll show you whether I'm doing the ceiling texture next, or if I'm going to try to do something with the floor next. I need to clean the floor up too, so that might be another thing that would lean towards the texture on the ceiling, because I can pretty much start that right away. But I can show you that process as well. So I think I'm going to call this the end of this video. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing to our channel if you haven't already. Go ahead and click the bell notification so that you're notified of future videos when they come out. And as always, thanks for joining us, and God bless.